in the heart of Chicago's bleakest neighborhoods, where dreams were swallowed by despair and hope was a luxury. A boy named Dennis Rodman was born. Beneath the concrete jungle, in the shadows of crumbling tenements, lay the seeds of an extraordinary destiny. My name is Elizabeth, and today I am telling you the story of Dennis Rodman. Born on May 13, 1961, to a family plagued by alcoholism and poverty, Dennis was a child who knew only pain. The streets were his playground, where he honed his raw instincts and fierce determination, surviving not by the rules of society but by the laws of the jungle. As a teenager, Dennis found solace in basketball. It was more than just a game, it was an escape, a ticket out of the darkness that consumed his world. With every dribble, every shot, he felt the chains of his past slipping away, replaced by the promise of a brighter future. Yet, Dennis's journey was far from smooth. Plagued by academic struggles and legal troubles, he seemed destined to remain trapped in the cycle of poverty and violence that had claimed so many before him. But within him burned an indomitable spirit, an unquenchable fire that refused to be extinguished. Drafted by the Detroit Pistons in 1986, Dennis's professional career took flight. Known for his defensive prowess and rebounding abilities, he quickly became a force to be reckoned with on the court. But off the court, his battles continued. Haunted by demons, he sought refuge in the excesses of fame and fortune, only to find himself lost and adrift. Yet, Dennis was never one to give up easily. In the face of addiction, heartbreak, and personal tragedy, he found the strength to pick himself up, dust himself off, and fight another day. Through it all, basketball remained his constant, a beacon of hope that guided him through even the darkest nights. As his career reached new heights, Dennis became more than just a basketball player. He was a symbol of resilience, a testament to the power of the human spirit, and an inspiration to millions who saw themselves in his struggle. Today, Dennis Rodman stands as a living testament to the power of perseverance, the indomitability of the human spirit, and the transformative power of sports. His is a story of triumph over adversity, of redemption, and of the unbreakable bond between a boy, a ball, and his dreams. In the crucible of a world teeming with industrial might and relentless ambition, a spirited young boy named Dennis Rodman emerged, his life story as intricate and multifaceted as the city that birthed him, Chicago. The year was 1961, a time when the windy city was pulsating with the vibrant rhythm of change, its resilient inhabitants weaving tales of struggle, triumph, and dreams deferred. Dennis Rodman's journey began in a household where love was as potent as it was fleeting. Born to Shirley and Philander Rodman, his earliest years were marked by the absence of his father, a man who wrestled with demons that left deep scars on the family. His mother, Shirley, bore the weight of the world on her shoulders, working tirelessly to provide for her brood, which eventually swelled to 11 children. In a neighborhood where dreams often drowned in the relentless tide of poverty and despair, the Rodman household was a beacon of quiet resilience. The walls echoed with tales of generational struggle, a testament to the indomitable spirit of their ancestors who fled the oppressive South in search of a brighter future. Dennis, the youngest of the brood, was a wild child, his boundless energy and insatiable curiosity often landing him in trouble with the neighbors. He found solace in basketball, a game that seemed to speak to his restless spirit. The courts became his sanctuary, a place where he could momentarily escape the harsh realities of life. As Dennis grew older, basketball transformed from a pastime to an obsession. His mother, ever supportive, recognized her son's potential and encouraged him to pursue his dreams, even as she wrestled with her own financial woes. The sacrifice was quiet, unspoken, but palpable in the air that filled their cramped home. And so the spark was planted. Fueled by love, ambition, and a fierce desire to escape the confines of his world, Dennis Rodman began his journey towards greatness. Little did he know, the road ahead would be fraught with trials and tribulations, each one shaping him into the extraordinary athlete destined to leave an indelible mark on the sport of basketball. In the heartland of America, a town nestled amidst the cornfields of Illinois, a child was born under the vibrant glow of neon streetlights on a balmy summer night in 1961. The baby boy, destined to leave an indelible mark on the world of basketball, entered the world with an air of defiance and determination that would become the hallmark of his life. Dennis Rodman, named after the then popular television character Dennis the Menace, arrived into the arms of his parents, Shirley and Philander Rodman, a couple whose love was as tempestuous as the storms that swept across the Illinois plains. The Rodmans were a family on the edge, their lives marked by turmoil, alcoholism, and abandonment. Young Dennis grew up in this tumultuous environment, his world a whirlwind of shouting voices, slamming doors, and the ever-present scent of cheap whiskey. Yet amidst the chaos, there was a spark within him, a fire that burned bright and refused to be extinguished. As a child, Dennis was an oddity in his small town. He was different, wild, unpredictable, and fiercely independent. His curiosity knew no bounds, and he would explore the nooks and crannies of his neighborhood with the abandon of a caged animal finally set free. It wasn't long before Dennis found solace in the local playground, the cold metal slide becoming his favorite perch to observe the world around him. One day, while playing on this familiar piece of metal, he stumbled and fell, scraping his knee raw against the gritty surface. The pain was sharp, but it was nothing compared to the fiery determination that surged through his small body as he stood up, tears streaming down his face. It was then that something within him changed, a quiet resolve that said, "I will not let this defeat me." As Dennis grew older, his reputation for fighting in defiance only grew stronger. His teachers labeled him a troublemaker, but those who truly knew him saw something more, raw talent and unyielding spirit that could not be contained within the confines of a classroom. It was on the basketball court where Dennis truly came alive. He was a force to be reckoned with, his long, lanky body seemingly possessed by an otherworldly power. His peers marveled at his agility and skill, but it was his indomitable spirit that truly set him apart. And so, as the winds of change swept through his small town, Dennis Rodman stood tall, ready to take on the world with a fire in his heart and a determination in his eyes that could not be broken. Little did they know, this young man from Illinois was destined for greatness, his journey only just beginning. In the labyrinthine world of professional basketball, Dennis Rodman was no stranger to intrigue and betrayal. A man as complex and enigmatic as his inimitable game, Rodman's life outside the court was a tapestry woven with threads of love, loss, and heartbreak. Born into a family fractured by alcoholism and abuse, Rodman found solace in basketball, a sanctuary from the tumultuous home that shaped him. Yet, it was the cruel hand of fate that would tear away the very thing he held dear. His mother, Shirley, succumbed to cancer when he was just 10 years old. In her absence, Rodman sought comfort in his basketball prowess, channeling the raw pain into an unparalleled drive for success on the court. It is said that love can heal even the deepest wounds, and for Dennis Rodman, that proved to be true when he met Annie Banks, a woman as fiery and passionate as the man she loved. Annie was a dancer who shared his zest for life. They were inseparable, their bond growing stronger with each passing day. Yet, as fate would have it, their love story would be marred by betrayal and heartbreak. Rodman's fame began to rise, and with it came the allure of the limelight. Whispers of infidelity filled the air, casting a shadow over their once idyllic relationship. It is unclear if these rumors held any truth, But what is certain is that Annie could no longer bear the burden of Rodman's straying heart. She left him, shattering his world into a million pieces. In the aftermath, Rodman spiraled into darkness, consumed by loneliness and self-doubt. He sought solace in the bottle, numbing the pain that threatened to engulf him. Yet, even in the depths of despair, he found a glimmer of hope. It was his love for basketball that pulled him back from the brink, reminding him of the power of resilience and perseverance. In the years that followed, Rodman's love life remained as tumultuous as ever. He married twice more, each union ending in divorce. Yet, through it all, he clung to his basketball family, finding a sense of belonging among his teammates. For Dennis Rodman, the game was not just a means to an end, it was a lifeline that kept him tethered to reality, grounding him amidst the chaos. In this part of his life story, we see the man behind the myth, a flawed, broken, and brilliant individual who, like all of us, grappled with love, loss, and betrayal. Yet it was these very struggles that molded Dennis Rodman into the iconic figure he is today, a testament to the power of resilience and the indomitable spirit of the human heart. In the heart of Chicago, nestled amidst the steel and glass skyscrapers and concrete jungle, a young Dennis Rodman was honing his skills on the hard court in the unforgiving embrace of winter's icy grip. Born to an unwed mother and raised by his grandparents, the future basketball legend faced a world that seemed determined to keep him down. Yet, as the snow fell relentlessly around him, so too did the seeds of greatness take root within his soul. Dennis Rodman was different from the others. His spirit, wild and untamed, defied the confines of convention. He was a force to be reckoned with, both on and off the court, a whirlwind of passion and energy that left those who dared cross his path gasping for breath. But it wasn't just his raw talent that set him apart, it was his insatiable hunger for greatness, an unquenchable thirst to prove the world wrong. The doubters were many, their voices a cacophony of disbelief that only fueled Dennis' determination. Drafted by the Detroit Pistons in 1986, he was derided as a nobody, a waste of talent. But Dennis was no stranger to adversity. He had faced it his entire life, and he wasn't about to let a few naysayers stand in his way now. The hours spent training were grueling, the pain relentless. Sweat dripped from his brow as he pushed his body to its limits, every muscle straining with the effort. His hands, calloused and blistered, gripped the basketball like a lifeline, a connection to the dream that burned within him. And then, as if by some divine intervention, the breaks began to come. Dennis was traded to the San Antonio Spurs and later the Chicago Bulls, where he would find his true calling. He became an integral part of the Bad Boys Pistons, his unorthodox play style and relentless energy terrorizing opponents on the court. Yet, even as stardom beckoned, Dennis never forgot those who had doubted him. He carried their disbelief like a talisman, a reminder of all he had overcome to get here. He sacrificed time with his family, the comfort of a normal life, all for the chance to prove himself. And as he stood on the precipice of greatness, looking out at the world that had once tried to keep him down, he knew that it was all worth it. This is the story of Dennis Rodman, a tale of defiance, resilience, and an unyielding spirit that refused to be broken. It's a testament to the power of dreams, the fire within us that refuses to be extinguished. And as we watch this basketball icon ascend to the heights of stardom, let us remember the struggles, the sacrifices, and the indomitable will that carried him there. For Dennis Rodman is more than just a basketball player, he is an inspiration, a symbol of hope for anyone who has ever dared to dream big. Amidst the pulsating beats of a basketball court, Dennis Rodman stood tall, a towering figure of defiance against the relentless tide of adversity that had come to define his professional career. Born on the 13th of May, 1961 in Trenton, New Jersey, the seeds of greatness were sown early within Dennis Rodman's heart. Yet the path to realization was fraught with trials and tribulations that would test his mettle time and again. The journey began in earnest when Rodman was drafted by the Detroit Pistons in 1986. His raw talent, coupled with an unyielding determination to succeed, quickly catapulted him into the limelight. He became a cornerstone of the Bad Boys Pistons, their tenacious defense and relentless spirit forging a dynasty that would rule the NBA landscape. The taste of victory was sweet, but it was swiftly followed by the bitter pill of defeat. Injuries plagued Rodman throughout his career, leaving him writhing in agony on countless occasions. Each time, he rose from the ashes, his spirit indomitable. For every injury there was a comeback, for every setback an opportunity to reclaim his throne. Yet, it wasn't just injuries that threatened to derail Rodman's career. Scandals, locker room betrayals, and media pressure took their toll on the troubled star. The weight of public failure weighed heavy upon his shoulders, yet he never faltered in his pursuit of greatness. One such scandal shook the very foundations of the basketball world. In 1993, Rodman was suspended for multiple games following a brawl between the Pistons and the New York Knicks. The incident tarnished his reputation, yet he never wavered in his resolve to prove himself once more. As the years passed, the glorious nights on top of the world became fewer and farther between. Yet Rodman refused to be defined by his failures. He found solace in the Chicago Bulls, where he would team up with Michael Jordan to form one of the most formidable duos in NBA history. Together, they claimed their place amongst basketball immortals. However, even in triumph, darkness loomed. Rodman's personal life was a tumultuous whirlwind, his struggles with addiction and mental health casting a long shadow over his career. Yet, through it all, he persevered, his love for the game never wavering. The final act of Rodman's career was played out in San Antonio and Los Angeles. Though his glory days were behind him, he continued to contribute where he could, his passion for the game undiminished. In the twilight of his career, Rodman found himself back with the Miami Heat, a team he had once led to victory years ago. It was a fitting finale for a man who had weathered so many storms and emerged victorious time and again. As the final buzzer sounded, signaling the end of Dennis Rodman's remarkable career, one couldn't help but feel a profound sense of awe at the journey he had taken. From the dizzying heights of glory to the depths of despair, Rodman had fought tooth and nail to carve out his place in basketball history. Through it all, he remained unbroken, his spirit indomitable. His tale is one of resilience, perseverance, and raw ambition, a testament to the power of the human spirit to rise above adversity and emerge victorious. Dennis Rodman's story is not just about basketball. It's about the indomitable human spirit that refuses to be defined by its failures but instead uses them as stepping stones towards greatness. In the twilight of a season that had seen more hardships than victories, Dennis Rodman found himself on the precipice of greatness. The Chicago Bulls, his team, were poised to make history, and with each passing second, the weight of expectation bore down upon him like an unrelenting tide. The United Center, their sanctum, echoed with anticipation as the clock wound down to zero. The air was thick with tension, a palpable silence hanging over the crowd like a shroud. And then the roar, the deafening crescendo that rose from the stands like a tidal wave, threatening to consume everything in its path. Dennis Rodman, the worm, stood at the edge of the storm, his heart pounding in sync with the rhythm of the drums that had taken up the chant. He could feel the heat of the spotlight on his back, the weight of a city's hopes and dreams resting upon his shoulders. But he was not afraid. For years, Dennis had battled demons both on and off the court. His life had been a whirlwind of chaos, a tempest that threatened to tear him apart at any moment. But through it all he had persevered, fueled by an indomitable spirit and a raw ambition that refused to be quelled. As the game began, Dennis took to the court like a predator stalking its prey. His eyes gleamed with focus, his movements sharp and precise. The Bulls surged forward, propelled by the relentless force of their center, Michael Jordan. But it was Dennis who held the team together, his defensive prowess and rebounding abilities a bulwark against the onslaught of their opponents. Time stretched out like taffy, each second elongated by the weight of expectation that hung heavy in the air. The score teetered precariously on the edge of victory and defeat, neither side willing to concede. And then it happened. A steal, a charge, a rebound, each one a testament to Dennis Rodman's indomitable spirit, his refusal to back down in the face of adversity. With each successive play, he seemed to draw strength from the crowd's frenzied craze, their unwavering faith in him a beacon that guided him through the darkness. And then it was over. The buzzer sounded, and the United Center erupted in a cacophony of cheers, roars, and tears. Dennis Rodman collapsed to his knees, his body racked with sobs as the weight of everything he had fought for finally lifted from his shoulders. That night, Dennis Rodman became more than just a basketball player. He became a symbol of perseverance, resilience, and raw ambition, a testament to the indomitable spirit that lies within each and every one of us, waiting to be unleashed in moments of triumph and adversity alike. And as he stood there, surrounded by the chaos of confetti and jubilation, Dennis Rodman knew that this was not just a win backslash of 2014, it was everything he had ever fought for, wrapped into one unforgettable day. As the sun began to set on Dennis Rodman's illustrious career, the once invincible force on the basketball court found himself grappling with an unfamiliar foe: age and decline. The relentless pursuit of perfection that had defined his playing days was now met with a cold reality: the passage of time. The years had taken their toll on Rodman's physical prowess, his once agile frame now bearing the scars of countless battles fought on the hardwood. His athleticism, though still formidable, was no longer what it once was, and the relentless competition that fueled him seemed to falter. Yet, in the face of decline, Rodman did not crumble. Instead, he adapted. He reinvented himself, transforming from an unstoppable force into a cunning tactician, leveraging his basketball IQ and vast experience to guide younger teams through the intricacies of the game. In this twilight of his career, Rodman found solace in mentorship, nurturing a new generation of athletes under his wing. He shared with them not just the tricks of the trade, but also the lessons learned from a lifetime of trials and triumphs, the value of perseverance, the importance of camaraderie, and the power of raw ambition. Off the court, Rodman's legacy continued to grow. Known for his eccentricities and larger-than-life personality, he became an ambassador for a different kind of basketball, one that transcended the game itself, bridging cultures and connecting people from all walks of life. From his unconventional hairstyles to his diplomatic missions to North Korea, Rodman defied expectations and challenged norms, leaving an indelible mark on the world beyond the basketball court. As the final buzzer sounded on his career, Rodman reflected on the journey that had led him here, a journey marked by struggle, triumph, sacrifice, and personal redemption, a journey that began with a dream and ended as a testament to the power of the human spirit. Now, as we look back on the life of Dennis Rodman, one question remains: what is the true measure of a legend? Is it the accolades won, the records broken, or the impact left on the game itself? Or is it something more, something deeper, more profound, a spirit that refuses to be tamed, a fire that burns with unyielding intensity? In the end, Dennis Rodman's legacy lies not just in his stellar career, but also in the indomitable spirit he embodied, a spirit that continues to inspire and captivate long after the final whistle has blown. As our tale of Dennis Rodman comes to an end, I find myself reflecting on the remarkable journey we've just shared. His story, like a kaleidoscope of emotions, has mirrored our own resilience and determination as we walked through his triumphs, sacrifices, and ultimately his redemption. Dennis Rodman, an American legend who wore his heart on his sleeve and left an indelible mark on the game of basketball. I am humbled to have been a part of this narrative, to have borne witness to the struggles and triumphs that defined him as more than just a player, but a symbol of perseverance for us all. I invite you to subscribe or return, dear listener, to explore other tales woven with the same thread of human spirit and raw ambition. Until then, let Dennis Rodman's story continue to inspire us, reminding us that we too can overcome our obstacles and emerge stronger on the other side. With a heart full of gratitude for sharing this journey with you, I bid you farewell. May Dennis Rodman's indomitable spirit resonate within each of us as we navigate our own paths to greatness.